Hi, Tara.
Fantastic. Well, Jane's in. Mary's in. Oh, I'm so excited. Good morning, Mary.
Oh,
How are you?
speaking to Tara.
Well, of course you're speaking. I'm speaking to Mary. I'm excited.
Well, I'm more than excited. So, yay.
Well, can I say I love your wall? I love that. That's exactly how I would like a house to look as your wall looks behind you.
Yes, well, it's a 160-year-old Queenslander in Rockhampton.
Viva Rock Vegas, one of my former hometowns.
I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was in North, I think I was in Shields Avenue. That's long-term.
Okay.
North,
Wow.
North Rocky, other side of the bridge, mate.
Oh, well.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, that was the wrong place to move. I'm thrilled to see you. We've talked a lot about regional Australia, so we're thrilled to have Rocky in. Thomas is in. We are thrilled. Thomas, we delivered a particular outrider for you, first of many, I hope, last week. So, colleagues, I'm thrilled to see everybody in. Jane's in. Wonderful. Gay's in. This is fantastic. I love your office. You know I do, Gay. Maeve's in red, looking fantastic. So, colleagues, Pilar's in. Great. Paul's back. You're a legend. Legendary Lorraine with the legendary bookcase is in. Fantastic. Love to see you, Pilar. You well? Also, it's Andrea.
Yes, I have a new hairdo.
I was going to say, look at the hair. It's all shiny.
Yes, a friend treated me. Very
Oh,
nice.
it's just shining in the light. So is it Andrea? Is it Andrea?
Yes, Andrea.
Fantastic. So I didn't want to confuse the names. People do that with me all the time too. Andrea, it is lovely to see you. So colleagues, welcome to Right Club. And the first rule of Right Club is?
Right.
Richard, thank you. Oh, Richard's in. Love you, Richard. You know it. Thank you, Richard. I'm so thrilled to see you. Look at your fantastic bookcase. Still, I've got real bookcase envy here. Colleagues, let's go for it. We've got a powerful 29 minutes in front of us. Let's go for it. We've got so many people in. I'm so excited. Andrew, great to see you again. Colleagues, let's do this. Talk to you in 29 minutes. Rock and roll. colleagues last minute. And we are finished, colleagues. Whoa. Jane, your face, Jane G, that's exactly how I feel. Jane will go straight to you, like, you were like, so what were you working on, Jane? You and I were about as intense as each other during that one. What happened, Jane?
I was writing I have to do a two paragraph paper on a project I did with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in Manila. I went over there. They asked me over there to go and help them put libraries into their prisons because they've got this fantastic arrangement where they've got like a 370% overcrowding, right, in their prisons. It's just ridiculous. But they've got this thing where prisoners can get a reduced sentence if they read, but they haven't got any libraries, so they can't read. So the United Nations looked at this and said, I know what we can do. We can put some libraries in there. But then they realized they didn't know how to do that. So then they asked me how to put libraries into prisons. So I went to Manila, spent some time there working with the United Nations, getting libraries in the prisons. So now I'm just writing that up and putting that together for my uni.
Yeah, Jane, I'm completely obsessed by you, just so you know. It's becoming a little bit unhealthy each week. Just can I say, this is, for me, you are changing the world. I'm so interested in everything you've said there, how we enable and support colleagues who are prisoners, who are citizens, and yet we so often disrespect their citizenry, and the role of libraries and librarians and books in enabling that connection to citizenry. And that's the work you are doing.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm a lucky girl.
Well, we're lucky to know you. I'm going to go straight to Thomas because Thomas is about as obsessed with Jane as I am. Thomas, what were you writing on? You might need to demute, brother.
So I'm working on a book chapter for a collection called American Conspiracism. And
well,
I'm taking a meta view of the discipline of psychology and looking at how, because it's not like a unified or like organized group of people by any means, that pop psych kind of runs rampant and provides the knowledge frameworks for conspiracism to flourish. And so, particularly with like professional people, not just like lay people, but like specifically professional people. And so I'm using the satanic panic to kind of illustrate how ideas that may have been tossed out in psychology are still like running rampant and then seeping into the general population.
see, Thomas, this is fantastic. Firstly, just two words, Jordan Peterson. But then the next word for me is satanic. So I, in my daily life, try to use the word Satan and satanic as often as possible in daily life. And it is transformative as you move into a meeting and just say Satan randomly, just Satan, and it changes the vibe of a meeting, brother.
I believe that.
Yeah. So can I say I'm completely obsessed by what you're doing because I'm also doing work on, and you and I are always linked, but unpopular culture and how unpopular ideas move into popular culture. So Thomas, I can't wait to read this research. You are an amazing scholar, mate.
I will say I did find a quote that I thought you would love. Is that it's from Henrique's 2011 as he's like hand reading about like unifying psychology, and he says psychology exists in the quote fault lines of human knowledge, where natural science, social science, and humanities all meet, and so it's not a discipline, it exists in all the little cracks between what we know.
And can I say, Thomas, I'm obsessed by the notion, the trope, the metaphor of fault lines too. That's good, Thomas.
a little chaotic. I was like, oop, this is going in the paper.
This is going in the paper. I'm going to look that reference up this afternoon. Thomas, that's legendary. Well done, mate. That's brilliant. And look, we'll go straight to Gay, because after all that satanic fault line work, I need the order of Gay's shelves behind her. Gay, what were you working on?
It wasn't working. I'm trying to revise my cemetery recording paper.
Yes.
And it ain't working today.
Right. So this is what happened. So revising papers are always rubbish, because you're liking what you've written the first time, they're going, don't like that, and you have to revise something that you might actually like. So what went wrong, Gay? Talk to us.
I didn't come to the session today with a clear goal, which is probably the big problem, because I didn't know which section to try to work on. I mean, all of them need work. So I ended up scrolling through what I've done and then fixing a word here and there, rather than actually looking at a particular section, which is what I should have been doing. The brain just wasn't working.
Yeah, but that's okay to acknowledge that too, Gay. Can I say, Gay, you've come up with something crucial for all of us there. On the weekends, I give myself a target of what I'm going to do each day to then do the final part of it in Write Club. So that's how I use this as my sort of endpoint, and I give myself these meta deadlines all the way through. So I've got the final 30 minutes in Write Club, and then I haven't quite got enough time, but it gives me efficiency. So I don't know if working on a section might help.
Oh, I've had a dreadful week, and the brain is not actually on my work, but having the Write Club and knowing that everybody else was working actually got me to keep going.
And look, I think that's it too. Sometimes Write Club will be, you've had a rubbish week, and I'm so with you on that. You've had a rubbish week, and you know what, just being with people that are working and caring and have compassion, that might be the socialization to just get you to the next stage tomorrow.
Yep.
So let's just go with that. We're with you, Gay, and I'm sorry about a rubbish week, mate. Sorry.
It happens.
And revision of articles is always a pain. But look, speaking of fabulousness and the furthest point of Satan, let's move to Mary and Rock Vegas. So Mary, what are you working on in Viva Rock Vegas?
Yeah, well, I'm not changing lives really, and it's nothing, you know.
No, tell us, of course you were changing lives. And so what did you write on? What did you do in that 30
I'm finishing off my thesis. My doctoral thesis. I'm hoping to submit it in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh my
it's just this. We have to do this analytical matrix of all of the literature we've used in the review, and it's taking lemon weeks, days, and weeks to nut it all out, but got to do it.
And so, Mary, why have they decided that that's how research literature has to be presented? Why have they decided that's the thing?
No, I think it's it's a matrix, and it might be a bit of a new thing, just as evidence that you have engaged with the literature and you know why you've used it and implications for your study. So it's meant to be done kind of a fair bit earlier than the last couple of weeks. I've had to re-engage with every one of my articles and then, you know, detail them out and the findings and the implications for my study. So it's sort of dot point stuff, but boy, it's just taken a bit of time.
Oh, Mary, I'm so sorry. What's worse than doing a literature review than having to do a matrix on the literature review, right? Look,
Anyway.
Kylie's
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. And look, we're together with you. Do the boring stuff with us each Friday morning. All right, Mary? Pick out what is the dullest, most yucky thing you have to do, and do that with us. So at least you've got us to keep you company. All right?
Well, I'm finishing it today. That is what I'm doing.
Yes, you are. So sorry. Look at your face. Yeah, I do. By the way, Thomas, did you see what Mary said? I'm finishing this today. I really am. I'm going to finish this today.
I've had enough of it.
Had enough. You need to finish it today. Oh, Mary, you rock. You got this. Hang in there, mate. And look, we'll go to the other ordered, fabulous person in our lives. Kirsty, you know, I'm obsessed by you and your environment. So what were you working on, Kirsty?
I was coding today, so I've started my results table, and I'm actually getting a little bit excited, but because one of the things I found is, so I'm doing the role of gender in effective climate change communication, and I've found that there's a 50-50 split between whether people think the gender of the communicator affects the reception of the message. And so, yeah, I'm starting to dive a little bit deeper into that, which I was not expected. So yeah, so I'm just starting to analyze my data. So I'm at a really exciting, overwhelming, drowning stage, which is giving me energy but draining it at the same time, if that makes any sense to anybody.
Look, it does. That's hugely exciting. Kirsty, I'd finish that coding and I would crunch out an article straight after the coding.
Okay, yeah.
I would, because my head is just, if that coding is accurate, and I'm sure it is because you're a brilliant human, that's transformative of how we think about climate risk and communication.
Yeah. Well, like I said, very surprising that is actually that.
Okay, well, I think you've earned that second cup of coffee now, Kirsty. I reckon that's a great morning. Unbelievable. Should we go to the other great bookshelf? We have so many, but Lorraine, hello, Lorraine, with the hair. Do you want to just give us a bit of a Beyonce?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. A friend treated me. She thought I needed it. So I went, okay, let's go for it.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Did the new fantastic hair, did that like marinate the brain? What did you work on during Right Club?
Yeah, very similar to Kirsty. So I've just started my first sort of sweep of some of my interviews, the participants. I'm really super excited. You know, working with InVivo and going, all these fancy buttons that I'm learning and watching YouTubes on how to do it properly as well. So yeah, so super excited. Not at coding stage yet, just first sweep. But I'm just sort of making notes.
Yeah, can I say, Lorraine, again, Right Club's very good to do that shaping stuff as well. So that's great, Lorraine. You are the best. It was worth coming, and the hair looked amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing. And speaking of fantastic beauty, we need to go to Queen Maeve, who has given us red for the day. Thomas, we needed Maeve's red today, didn't we? My goodness me. So Maeve, what were you writing on #No pressure? Your two supervisors are watching you.
Right. Thank you for that. Hello, two supervisors. I went right back to basics and I did the old reflection because it's on my mind at the moment. And I have drawn up a new plan of how to get not only to my mid-candidature review, but to completion.
Yeah. And how are you feeling? Now, this is important, Maeve, because I'm about to do some of this on the weekend too. How does it feel when you actually got the shaping of the structure in place, the task and time orientation?
Yeah, I feel good now. And I didn't, because I could see all my things sort of getting a bit wonky because the time frame hadn't quite worked that I'd been dreaming or thinking up.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually done more. I'm not actually going to do that much more work than I was imagining. It's that I'm feeling more grounded, and it really helped me in our last session when everyone had the talk about kind of being in the middle. And although I'm not quite in the middle, I think emotionally I'm totally in the middle.
You are emotionally and existentially in the middle, Maeve. You are.
Yes. So it was great to have such a thorough discussion of different people's ideas of how to handle the middle, and just understanding for me that actually, the middle is a tough thing, and lots of people feel the middle is tough. So I have been able to very quickly move that away from I'm not okay kind of moment into, oh, everybody feels this is normal.
That's right.
I'm still in a good place. Things are still good.
Yeah.
So I think it really is. Thank you for laughing, Kylie. I think that it's that classic example of where being in a community helps you move away from the self.
Yes.
dichotomy.
And also, Maeve, it's the nature of PhD research and doctoral studies that this stuff is known. These variables have been studied, and yet because of the lack of professional development in doctoral education, not that I'm on a soapbox, but I am Satan, because of this research exists, but because it is not activated in doctoral education, it's not talked about. So every individual student thinks that they're on their own. It's their own paranoia. They're going crazy. They can't remember dropping a tab of acid, but they clearly must have. But actually, as deans know, that in-between period is one of our problem points where we have to care for the students. So when I see students at about 13, 14 months, I watch them and see how they go, right?
Yeah.
You're the best, Maeve. Fantastic. And speaking of glamour and inspiration, Baxter, what were you working on, Queen Beck?
I'm working on a literature review at the moment, which I'm writing with Andy. So we've undertaken our database searches this week. So it's been just to take my hat off to him, actually. He's been really good because I emailed him the Excel spreadsheets and said, here you go, you get to have a look through the titles and abstracts on these and tell me what ones you think we're going to be using. So he's completed one of them so far. Pardon me, we've got, what is it, mate? About 4 definite articles we can use, another 2 maybe potentials, and that's just off one. And so while we were doing that, I've actually been working on our main document. They're starting to get the information together for writing the design methods and stuff about the databases that we've searched and that sort of stuff.
Oh, Beck, that is fantastic. And once a certain physicist returns to Palmerston North this evening, I'll be in some detail engaging with your wonderful message to me too. So that was fantastic. I'm so excited. It's such a wonderful area. I'm so proud of you. It's just legendary, Beck. Legendary. You are the best. And speaking of legendary, there is our Mary. What we can't run anything without Mary. Mary, what were you writing on?
I'm writing my in the mornings. I write my chapters. My chapter that's going to be for my milestone 2. So I'm working on it early just to get that written down because I have to do it from colonial records. So I'm basically telling a story of or writing up what Wadandi people were doing within a massacre that happened, what their movements were, stuff like that, during a massacre that happened in 1841. So in particular, one Wadandi man who was made to be a native constable during the massacre, but also did his best to warn other Wadandi people when the group of settlers were coming.
Wow.
So he did various things during that to try and help his people, but they also took his family hostage to make him behave, do what they wanted. Settlers took his
Mary,
family hostage.
It's amazing, as we all did colonial history, those appalling survey courses that were just pretty dreadful. We all knew about the Indigenous constables. They were sort of a figure, but what you're doing is revealing the human that was activating the third space in these roles. So Mary, that's just amazing.
So it was a very interesting story to write, and so I'm just writing out the story now, and then I will of course go back to that chapter and start layering things in, like strategic intimacies. Obviously he's trying to deal with the settlers. He came and offered his help because he's trying to control their reaction to the killing of a settler. So it's an interesting chapter to write.
Oh, look, it's brilliant. And can I say, look at what Mary's done there, Maeve. She has handled the middle period by actually, I've got a difficult middle coming at the beginning. I'm going to speak to my future self. So Mary, you've done something truly brilliant there. Wow. Wow. Andrea, darling, talk to us. So, Andrea, was that a wave? Where are you? Is Andrea gone? Bless her. I was about to sort of go straight to Andrea. Oh, Andrea's gone. That's okay. That's okay. Let's go to the wonderful Richard, my dear mate, Richard. Richard, do you want to say hello, mate? What were you working on, mate?
Well, I'm oscillating at the moment. I'm oscillating the air between. I've got an offer to start a second MA in script writing, but I'm also, what I've been working on today is actually putting together a proposal to start my oft-threatened PhD. And I'll see which one falls. They're sounding quite positive in talking to potential supervisors, but I've got to get the thing in.
Yeah.
So that's but we discovered today that the Guardian newspaper reports that that universities only read personal statements for 2 minutes on average. I don't know what they base this on, but clearly I've spent 28 minutes more on this than they will spend reading on it. So I might just be agonizing unnecessarily here.
Yeah, Richard, I'm terrible. Would you like to know? I'm terrible, Muriel. Do you want to know what I do? I do when I get an application. I look at the email. I'm respectful of the email. I then go to the CV and I go to the academic transcripts. And thanks. And that's what I look at. And then I read, if there are articles, I read the articles, I read the materials in that way. But I very much want the human being. And then if I've got any questions, I'll have a face-to-face conversation with the human.
That sounds better to me.
Yeah. So it's because, I mean, there's all the personal statements and you end up with sort of like, I've got high level communication skills. I'm driven. And, you know, you end up, they all look the same, Richard. All those things look the same. I've never seen anyone go, look, I can't manage laundry. I'm not good with time. I've run out of fuel 15 times with my vehicle. I just can't manage stuff. People don't put like truth stuff that you need to know in those proposals. They just go, I'm a good communicator.
Well, I worry with my personal statement that what I'm saying a lot of the time is why I haven't been doing anything academic much until a few years ago. You know, so I'm talking about the careers that I've had up to now and why I should sort of move again into something else.
Well, can I say, Richard, that's a gift. Firstly, you don't have to apologise for nothing, brother. It's called life. And as long as you find the right match for the university and the right dean and supervisor, what you're bringing to it is a gift. If what you bring to it is, and Richard, put me down as a referee for goodness sake, because I sort of stalk you. I've known you for a long time now. So Richard, don't apologise for anything. Having a life will enable PhD success.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm very attracted to both of these things, though. Even the MA script writing is led by somebody I'd like to work with. So I want to get to the stage where I've had conversations with both institutions before I make that decision. I'll probably end up trying to do both, one and then the other.
And look, I think that's right too. But yeah, keep both going and then make a determination, then make a decision. That's fantastic. I'll just quickly duck down to Paul, because he may want to offer a comment to Richard as well about that, but also to see how you went, Paul. So Paul, Richard would be a dream student, wouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's nice to hear students or potential, you know, if I had people coming to me who wanted a conversation about what we could offer them as much as what, you know, and that two-way dialogue, that would be the dream. Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have a level-headed thought process
well,
rather than grade chasing and hole chasing. It's good.
Spot on. And Paul,
in actual fact,
oh, sorry, go Richard, mate. Go Richard.
I was just going to say, in actual fact, the MA script writing that I have an offer on is at the same university that Paul is at.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Very good.
So it's a small world.
Did anyone just get a bit weird there? Anyone get a bit weird? Oh, that's bad. Oh, well, Paul, look, can I recommend Richard? Richard is a legend. Richard is a great human being. I would enroll Richard in 12 seconds without looking at a personal statement.
Absolutely, I will get the team to look out for it if it comes that way. I would have nothing to do with it. It's not my area.
The offer I have in hand is from Paul's university. So what I'm putting together here is for the rival.
Who's the rival? Can I know?
That's Bristol.
Yeah,
I'm keeping it local. I'm just over the border in North Dorset, so it's all very local around here.
Oh, that is fantastic. Well, that's what you two are meant to meet today too. That is fantastic. So I'll just do a quick comment from Paul. Paul, brother, what are you working on at the moment? Because I'm obsessed with you, obviously. What are you working on?
I'm working on some revisions for an article that I'm putting together, which has been accepted. I just need to do the revisions for looking in the performing arts at backstage job titles of crew and technician, and the hierarchical power difference between crew, which is seen as a lower position due to its nautical background, as opposed to a technician. So looking at the social and cultural implications of hierarchical job titles within theatre.
And you saw Thomas's face straight there, and hello. So Paul, Thomas, Paul. Yes, I stalk. Paul is one of the, and I would say this to anybody, Paul is one of the truly innovative scholars, I think, working on the planet at the moment. He's that good. So Watch Paul, he's unbelievable, fantastic. And speaking of innovative scholars, we need to go quickly to gorgeous Kylie, check in with Queen Kylie. How are you going, darling?
Oh, it's my turn.
Of course it's your
Yeah,
turn.
getting there. I'm a bit like Maeve. I'm got that whole, is it Steelers wheel stuck in the middle at the moment, sort of trying to get data back. I've sent it all and I don't want to harass the councils because I know they're all so busy, but I've pretty much got no data coming back in, and I'm then rereading or re-listening to your unobtrusive data collection. I'm like, oh, put the problem into the PhD. Do I see what's on the internet, get what they can't give me? It's
Yeah, and also there's I'm reading widely a literature at the moment on small data sets. I've got a wonderful student, we've got a wonderful student, legendary Amanda. Hello, Amanda.
Is that like one?
Well, she's got a small data set. So what do you do with the data set? It's not generalizable. So how does one render a small data set illustrative and meaningful? So Kyles, I'm doing work on that. You hang in there, but unobtrusive research methods can work. And there will be an outrider on small data sets. I've probably got about 20 books to go, so it'll be a little while, but it's a thing. You hang in there, all right?
Thanks.
Oh, you star. And look, we've got a couple of minutes left. So I just want to quickly, I've seen beautiful Elaine. Good morning, Elaine. You are a legend of the universe. Love you forever. But if we can, love you. We'll finish off with the legendary Jane and the gorgeous Dina. So Jane P, the two Janes in my life. So Jane P, how did you go? What were you writing on, Jane?
I just discovered there's a poem in Vietnamese talking about making decisions, and it's exactly like the road not taken by Robert Frost, but instead of in two roads, that's the two rivers, the confluence of it. And the decisions that the person who travel have to make either have to make very quickly, or the water won't take them to the destination that they may not want. So even the situation is similar, but the waterway is so different with the land one. So I'm incorporating that in my writing.
You are amazing. So is anyone else every week just so inspired by Jane? I'm sort of looking at water in completely different ways. It's like I look at basin water in a completely different way. I look at how water's moving. It's just changing my whole life, Jane. So you just keep with us. You are so precious to us. And we'll finish off with the inspirational Dina, we are so proud of you, Dina. Where are you at, Queen Dina?
Hi, I'm still in Jakarta at the moment. So yeah, I'm still finishing my data collection. This is my final field work. So I was refining my introduction actually, and picking up what Richard said. One of my biggest criticism in the confirmation of candidature is that I'm too much of a practitioner in my proposal than an academic, and that also got me very much until now, which I did discuss with my supervisor. And in doing the introduction, I always refer to myself that I shouldn't write this in the practitioner lenses, but really trying to write the basic details, which which I'm not used to do when I'm in my workplace setting. So yeah, so it's just trying to switch into that academic lenses that I'm not used to.
Oh, Dina, you're doing incredibly well. And just two bits of advice may help you. What I always say to my students, particularly my wonderful clinicians who I supervise, make the case, don't assume the case. So you go from A to M really quickly, bang, bang, you go woof. Yeah. And that's what clinicians have to do. Here's a diagnostic. Thanks. Yeah. You've got to do that quickly. In research, make the case rather than assume the case. So do that for me. And the second point, wonderful Dina, I'm sure everybody's there with me, put the problem into the work. So anybody that said, you are this and therefore you can't do this, that's rubbish. And what we need is for you to claim your space, occupy your space, and write from that positionality and put the problem into the work. So what someone said to you in that COC, I'd be putting that in the introduction and explaining how actually what they read as a weakness is really a strength, and show the strength of that in the introduction. You're the best, Dina. Colleagues, I've had the most amazing morning. We've got a long day in front of us. Poor Jamie's on a flight at 2 a.m. It's now 11 o'clock. So it's going to be a long day night for us. But I thank you all for being with us and giving us such a powerful morning. You are all amazing human beings. And I'll see you next Friday. Can't manage without you. Blessings to you all.
Lovely week all.
See you, Tara. Travel safely, Jamie.
Love yous all. See you guys. Bye-bye. Bye. Love you, Thomas. Go on, you brother.